And we're live. Let me turn my, is that, what I hear? You got some feedback going there. I hear something.
Do I have something going on here? Can you hear something?
Yeah, is that you or I think it's gone now.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't have anything on unless it's the TV in the other room. But I think we're good.
Oh, I hear it. Is it a TV?
Let me check and see if this would. I had it on pause.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good evening. All right, ladies, let us know if you can hear us and see us.
Yes.
Let me put the link in here while I'm thinking about it and your information. There we go.
All right.
There's so much mess on my screen. All right. Okay. So they're in here. All right. So thank you, ladies, for joining us tonight. We're so glad to be back. We missed 2 weeks, right? Yeah. So good to be back. So Miss Lisa's a little bit hoarse, but she's here like a true champ.
Yeah, keep going.
And we're going to talk about etiquette tonight. I'm excited about this. There's so much to talk about, right? I thought that this would be a good show to do. You know, we're getting ready to come out of quarantine, and a lot of us have just forgotten our good manners. So I thought maybe a lot of people need a refresher course, and some people just don't know a lot of this stuff. So Miss Lisa,
that's true.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. But when I found out Miss Lisa has taught etiquette as well as been to charm school, I was like, oh my gosh, she's the perfect person to talk to us about this. So we have some real interesting topics and discussions pertaining to etiquette tonight. So y'all grab your wine. And I put the link up. I'm also going to put Miss Lisa's Cash App information in the comment section below, because time's like money. So she comes over here, shares all her amazing information with us. So y'all, donate to Miss Lisa's Cash App. So she will continue to want to come over here and share her knowledge with us.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So let's talk about, let's say hello to some of the people. Deborah, Gina Marie, Deanna, Sharetta. Hello. Good evening, ladies. Good evening. Y'all pouring on in here. Carlinder, Felicia. Welcome, y'all. This will be fun. So, all right. So let's talk about etiquette, because I told you I did a video on etiquette previously, and there were a lot of comments that were stating that, oh, this is European behavior. Black folks don't act like this. I was like, well, I didn't think that having good manners was, race specific, but so you were sharing some interesting facts with me before we came on about that.
Well, yeah, because it's not European behavior. The one thing that we need to know is that etiquette, manners essentially, will take you around the world. That's welcomed in any country that you go to, as long as you know how to conduct yourself with manners and act like a lady. That can take you anywhere and open up more doors than not for you. So I think it's something to just take into account. Like you said, previously, we've been in the house a little bit longer. And I think with the coronavirus, staying in and not going out as often or not dating as much, we put some of our manners that we may have had on the back burner, and may not have had them at the forefront. But when you allow those to be innate behaviors, it comes across more genuinely and not so much as forced. And as far as our history as Black women, and we're just celebrating Women's History Month in the month of March, we should be very proud of the ancestral history that we have, even if you date it all the way back to, if you want to go back to the slavery times forward, you've had women that have pronounced, how you didn't see so many Black women on television, but then when you did, it was the Diane Carrolls, and she was so poised and graced. And then you saw what's the one lady who sang so well and she was so beautiful, and even Billie Holiday, even though she wasn't graceful, she was Lady Holiday. You know what I mean? They put a title on it because of the things that she would not allow herself to do. So even if you go through history, the most pronounced ladies were the ones who conducted themselves like ladies, So, and I think that's a wonderful attribute, to have as a lady. And if you have daughters, to teach that, to them, just basic behaviors. I teach it to my 3-year-old granddaughter. So when we go out, she know before she even gets her drink, she said, my napkin go in my lap, right, Granny? And I said, that's right. Because if you start them young, they'll know that, whoever they come in contact with, this is who you have in front of you. So you respect me because I respect myself, and, and the attributes that I carry as a lady, that takes you further than you could ever imagine. Yeah.
Right. And what was the lady's name you were talking to me about, the one that started teaching etiquette in the schools? I thought that was interesting information.
Oh yeah, that was let me recall her name specifically because I did write it down just in case. That was Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown. And she was the first teacher of etiquette in class. And she was actually very instrumental in the 1900s, where she had, I think it was over 1,200 schools, and I think it was across North Carolina in that area, where they taught. She was very big on education, so she wrote etiquette into education. So as we know it, some people say, oh, you sit up straight when you have a book on your head. Well, she is attributed for that behavior because you can see that when she taught etiquette in school, she said the way you walk in straight is to have this book on your head for balance. So that's where a lot of people get that from, and you don't know that that's who that's attributed to. And it is, even though that, I went to Wendy Ward's, Montgomery Ward's charm school. And then I went to Maria Everding, which is a charm school at Marshall Fields, which was downtown Chicago. So very, different spectrums, the one that was at Marshall Fields, very astute. The only faces you saw in the workbooks were little white girls. None of them were Black girls, Then when I went to the Montgomery Ward Charm School, which was in my neighborhood, and she was a Black lady and we were Black, I felt more welcomed. I felt I see another lady like me teaching me, what to do, instead of someone saying, well, this is how you should act. You know what I mean? It's a difference. And this is how you should act, and these are the things that a lady should do. It was a difference.
Right. And when you say that, you think about the younger girls that are coming up now, and no one that looks like us is teaching girls how to have good manners, not teaching young girls how to be ladylike. And so they are the ones who say, oh, this is European behavior, because all the women that they know don't behave like that. No one's teaching them how to behave like that.
Well, I did at one point teach it in the Gary Community Schools through the technical colleges. But the year that, of course, everything popped off grand for me, coronavirus took over a few months later. So the contract was, of course, had to be canceled because you couldn't come in contact. But the kids were so enthusiastic. I wrote my own manual, just based on the
Yeah.
fact I've been doing it for so long. Wrote the manual for the kids in the school and the basic things that we were going to teach week 1 through week 8, and then after week 8, go downtown and show your dinner skills at a very nice restaurant, which would have been, no problem to choose from a variety of restaurants, right? But when the coronavirus took over, then that contract ended. So, it was nice while it lasted. I did do it for a while with ladies, as well as dining, dinner etiquette for ladies, dating etiquette, one-on-one. And then I even did wedding etiquette because I used to be a wedding planner. And a lot of people don't know how many months are you supposed to be engaged before you get married. And, this is supposed to drag out for 5 or 6 years. Not really, so, so I did etiquette, and it's etiquette for everything. And it's just how to conduct yourself in social protocol. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should go back to doing that now that Corona's over, because kids need that. Boy,
they do.
They need it bad.
Well, you know what? These adults think they need sex talk even worse. So, I've switched over to sex.
Well, they need etiquette before they get to the sex part, right?
That's true.
If you ain't got no good manners, that might not get you to the sex part.
That's true. That's definitely true.
So what do you think? What are some of the first things that a woman should know about etiquette? Like, what are some no-brainer, just off the top type things that a lot of women don't know that you think they should?
Well, certain things that we teach young girls as they start to grow up, I believe as young ladies and women, we get away from those behaviors. Like you see a little girl, you say, don't sit like that. Sit like a girl, sit like a young lady. She could be on the floor sitting Indian style, butterfly style, legs cocked open. You tell her not to sit like that. But the older we get, we'll sit down, legs just gapped open. You're just sitting on the sofa. You haven't crossed them at the ankle to kind of shelter your lady parts, or, making sure that your legs are closed at the knee. If you can close them at the knee, if you can't because your thighs are a little bigger, that's okay. There's ways for you to sit where your legs are angled, and you can still cross them at the angles, ankles, if you can't cross it at the knee. But certain little bitty behaviors, how to sit, and that goes a long way. I mean, you cannot imagine, even if you're sitting in the lobby waiting for a job interview, and they see that you're sitting like a lady, that goes over further than you sitting there with your legs gapped wide open, but you've been taught from a little girl to sit like a lady. How to walk properly. You don't walk fast with your arms swinging like you're in a race and you're all sweaty by the time you get to where you're going. You want to make sure that you pace yourself when you walk, and women are to be seen, not that you're on display, but, when you walk gracefully, people pay attention to you. They wait and hold the door for you. And when they do, they say, oh, baby, you ain't got to rush, because they like the view. Is that right? They number one say that, So, I mean, just basic things like sitting, walking, the way that you speak, in public. Some of us have a little potty mouth. I do sometimes with my friends. I'll let my mother say the 3 that the Lord will forgive you for: shit, damn, and hell come out, So, so I'll let one of the 3 slip, but other than that, knowing how to speak and communicate effectively, without raising your voice and getting upset, and your arms and the clap and the neck, and, just knowing how to communicate effectively, as you continue to grow. So as simple as it is, sitting properly, walking, talking to another person, whether it's a female or a male, your parents, other elder individuals, how to know how to introduce individuals. If you introduce me to your husband, how would you introduce me to your husband? Would you, it's like, oh, such and such, this is, Lisa, or would you say, Lisa, this is my husband, such and such, knowing how to introduce, introductions, knowing how to conduct yourself when you go out to dinner, or if you invite someone into your home, even if you've never done it before, the Googler, as my mother used to call it, has more information than not. So you can
Absolutely.
always Google what to do, and it's better to be safe than to, especially if you know the culture or the climate of the people that you're entertaining in your home.
Right.
To feel comfortable and welcome. You don't want to, sit around and drink out of a bottle if this person may want a glass. So yeah, just
Yeah.
basic things like that.
Yeah, that and that beer bottle thing is huge. I think I told the story one time. Someone had invited me to a get together, and I was waiting on my friend, and I drove a long way. So I was like, I'm just gonna have a beer. So I'm sitting there. The waitress came over to me. She asked me what I want. I said, oh, I'll have a Corona. So she brought it over to me. And I looked up, I saw this guy walking towards me, had a suit on. I was single then. He was nice too. I was like, oh, he was coming straight at me, right? And he leaned down on the table and he said, my sister, he said, you are too beautiful to be sitting there drinking Corona out of a bottle. Next time, have the waitress bring your beer to you in a glass. And then he went over to the bar, and I saw the waitress coming over there. She brought me another beer in a glass. And at first I was like, drink my beer. But then I thought about it and I said, well, he's right. I'm sitting here thinking I'm flawless, tossing back a Corona. If I'm at home, okay, that's fine. I'm in my house, but I'm in public. I should be sipping like a lady.
Right.
So,
And I've never done that. I've never drank out of a can. I think because of also a little OCD, I don't want my mouth on certain things because I don't know really where it's been before it got to me, if something
right.
dust, whatever. Even though I wash it off, it's just a phobia with me. So I don't put my mouth on cans, and I just don't turn off a bottle. But I remember my dad telling a story at a bar, saying something at a barbecue years ago. And of course, my mother held on to this story because it was her glory as far as my father noticing and realizing and communicating to someone else that he thought she was a lady. And it was a wine cooler back in the day called Hoppin' Gator. So my mother didn't really drink, and she wanted like this wine cooler. And the one man, they were on a bowling league, and the one guy went to the bar, and my father said, bring back the Hoppin' Gator from my mom. The guy brings back the Hoppin' Gator, and my father looked at the bottle and looked at his other hand, and he said, well, where's the glass, man? This is for my wife. So my mother, she didn't say a word. She said, I just waited for him to come back with the glass. That was her crowning moment, but
right.
when a man treats you, like you're a lady, or even pronounce the fact that they think you're a lady, it makes you feel better.
Right. Oh yeah.
At the Absolutely. End of the day. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, we talked about, all right, let's talk about dress etiquette first. Let's talk about that. That thing is serious, right? Dress etiquette. Because I always say this, you should be in uniform, basically, right? Like if someone invites you to, say, an all white party, if you don't like to wear all white, well, keep your all black home, right?
Right.
Mess up the folks' photos and stuff. Black tie, you need to be in black tie attire. After 5 is after 5 attire, right? And I think sometimes a lot of ladies don't really know what that is. Now they know what all white is, but they don't really understand like formal, after 5.
Well, I know if you have a little black dress in your wardrobe, you can always be safe on some accord if you're going after 5 or a black tie. But if someone has a theme specific party, dressing out of character, I believe, is disrespectful to your host. Even if you have a white dress and it's got Gucci pattern down the sleeve, keep your Gucci at home. You understand? I know everybody want to know you got it, but keep it at home, you know? So you don't ever want to disrespect your host. And that goes as far as being late for their event, you know? So you got dress etiquette, but, you know, being on time is not is disrespectful to your host, not being on time, as well as not dressing for their party, you know, the way that they would like for you to, whether it's black and white, and you throw some red in there because you got these sharp red shoes and I want to make a statement, it's black and white. It could be a reason for it. You know, it could, they may want their flowers in red, or they may have flowers in peach or green, and then you got on red shoes, you know, so keep your extra to yourself and just try to stick with what the crowd is asking you for, you know, the host is asking you for, not what you want the crowd to say.
Absolutely. And that don't mean you got to dumb it down. You know, that don't mean you got to put on an all white yoga pants and a t-shirt or nothing like that. You can still do you, and you can still be extra, but just be extra in all white, right? Or whatever the host is asking you to wear. I've had that happen to me before, like someone, or you know, it's luau, or you know, it's Hawaiian theme or whatever, and then you have somebody who just, they don't want to participate. They in there and they in a denim outfit. They won't even put on a lei. And it's like, well, go home then.
Yeah. You know, and the biggest, I think, excuse is, oh, I came from somewhere to here, or I got to go somewhere when I leave here, you know, but if that's the case, you can always say, well, you know, I'm going to use your bathroom to change clothes before I go to this other spot. I got, you know what I'm saying? So wear what I need you to wear, you know, and then if you got to change, you know, you can always change. But, you know, some people need to know the etiquette of going to, I guess, parties at someone's location, more so than just, because when you say dress attire, what I'm thinking is you start from the underwear out, you know, and some of us don't wear the proper underwear, you know, when you're saying dress attire.
Well, that too, that as well, that falls in.
Yes, as women, I think you first of all should think about how high your breasts are. You know, they shouldn't be all the way up to here, but they shouldn't be where your navel is either.
Right.
You know, they should be up high enough that you feel like you got a waistline. You know, and when you don't feel like you have a waistline, look at the fact that your bra could be, you know, sagging a little too low, but then that makes your blouses look a little frumpier than a little bit more. Like you could say, it didn't look like that on the mannequin in the store, but the mannequin's breast was up far. You know, and when you tried it at home, you didn't have your bra straps pulled up, so it wouldn't look the same. So look the best that you can in your clothes. You know, even if you're going to someone's party, and you should wear dark underwear under white clothes, unless you have on like a sheer blouse and you want the whiteness of your bra to shine through the sheerness of your blouse, or if you're given a certain illusion under a sheer blouse, you know what I mean? Like leopard bra or floral bra or something like that.
Yeah, because it's bad etiquette to not be wearing the right undergarments.
Oh yeah.
It's bad etiquette. I say this all the time, like you can kill an outfit with the wrong undergarments. And that's like panty lines and all that type of stuff. You don't have on the right bra, you don't have on the right, it's bad etiquette.
Well, you know, and it's bad etiquette for thin women as well as full-figured girls to have on the right control garments, because even being 100 pounds, I have a little stomach. I'm 59 years old. It's not like, you know, I got baby fat, but I got, you know, some stuff that ain't going nowhere. You know, I can do a few sit-ups, but as many as I do, they won't go. So I wear, you know, a full figured panty when it's a certain type of dress, when I want to look smooth. And it's about looking smooth under your clothes, you know, not suffocating your body where you can't breathe and move, you know. Looking smooth. So
shapewear is not just for plus size women, it's for everybody. Exactly. At some point in time, it doesn't matter how small you are, we all need some shapewear at some point in time or another. But you know, for like the after 5, the formal all that type of stuff. I always say you cannot go wrong if you have three things in your wardrobe. If you have that LBD, the
Right.
little black dress, if you have a gown, it doesn't have to be a expensive, but just a long, at least it needs to be past your knees, preferably to the floor, because that's formal. And I always say a tuxedo suit.
Yeah.
Because you can do that up, down. You can put a tuxedo suit on with some Chuck Taylors and kill it, but you can do that formal. You can do a tuxedo can be after 5, you know, you can put it on with a bustier, and if you have those three things, you ready to go anywhere.
Yes. And you know, I believe even as ladies, we should always make sure that we have a statement piece, you know, that you can mix and match with other things in your closet. I've got a sequence jacket, you know, and I can wear that with a black tank dress. I can wear it with some jeans and a white t-shirt. I can wear it with so many different things. And it's my favorite jacket. And it's like, oh, she got on her favorite jacket. Well, you know it, and I can mix and match it up. It's not like an article that people can get tired of. It's an article that people look forward to me seeing. You put that with that, really? My favorite jacket, you know, so sometimes you can get away with a statement piece like that. And they call it my Michael Jackson jacket because it's a sequin jacket, you know, but I love it. And I mix and match it with more incredible things all the time. I can have on a solid white dress and put on my jacket.
Favorite jacket. Yeah, I agree. One good statement jacket that's like screaming loud, and you ain't even got to say nothing, but you still look classy and you still look good. Yes, absolutely. Now you touched a little bit on time, but we didn't spend enough time on being on time, because it's just plain tacky when you're late. When I leave this world, whoever eulogizes me is gonna definitely tell y'all I was always on time.
Yes.
And I can't stand people who ain't.
No.
I feel like it's disrespectful, you know?
Yeah.
To me, it says, if you late everywhere you go, you show up at the party late, you put the dinner together, you show up at the dinner late, you show up to church late. It just says, I'm so great and wonderful that y'all all need to wait on me, you know? And I can't tolerate people who do that on a consistent basis. Yeah.
Well, the etiquette for arrival is that 15-minute window before you're considered late. Within that 15-minute window, if the party started at 7, and the hostess really sometimes do need their time to get everything together, so give them their 7 o'clock time. You know, if you get there at 6:30, you might be in the way of them still setting up or putting food out, you know, so I understand that. So don't come extra early, but if you come in too late, they can start having hors d'oeuvres at this time, or drinks and appetizers are being served. And, you know, they could have a toast, or they can have an entry waiting. It could be a surprise party and you didn't know about it. Anything could be going on where you should not be that late. And if you do need to dip out early, you came on time. You can do that. But then if you come in late and I got to dip out early, it's not, the party is not about you. You know, so your entry and your exit shouldn't be what the hostess is looking forward to. Oh, they're late again. But you know your distance, because GPS is very popular these days. You know the time it takes for you to travel to where you got to get to from where you are. You know, if you know it's going to take you 35 or 45 minutes to get there, you need to leave in enough time where you won't be so late walking into a party. You know, because as a wedding planner for a lot of years, I think the one thing that bothered me, and it may not have bothered the bride and groom, is when I got to send for a salad and they're having dinner because you came late.
Oh, I'm sure it bothered the bride and groom as well.
I got to find you a seat, and you want to sit together with your family member, but I got a seat right here and one over at that table. What you want to do, and you came late.
Yeah, and those are always the ones that come in with the special requests and the special orders and Yeah,
Yeah.
always. And
So
you
don't look for concessions when you're late.
sneak
So that's
in,
the thing.
and go sit down somewhere and be quiet. That's don't ask. You can't ask for nothing. You cannot. I might have made this up in my head. I don't know if this is true or not, but I have always said to myself, I feel like people who are late everywhere they go are lazy. They just lazy folk,
Yeah.
because I know people who are just, it's like, girl, you did not have to be late. Like you don't,
Yeah.
you didn't
They
kill
don't
it.
have a sense of urgency about themselves.
Exactly. And I always feel that it really gets underneath my skin. It's a huge pet peeve of mine, especially when the person when they do that. And when everybody is always sitting there like, well, it starts at 7, but so and so and so and so, they're not gonna get here till 8. Then you got to start lying to them about the actual start time of an event, and they
Yeah.
still gonna be late.
And it goes across the board. And I know you have a lot of followers, and I hope that one is hopefully not, but it's a huge pet peeve of mine when a rehearsal starts at a certain time. If rehearsal starts at 9 o'clock and you get there at 10 o'clock, and it's only an hour and a half rehearsal, it's only 30 minutes before it's time to go. But before you got there, you got all these pictures on Facebook, all these poses on Instagram of your makeup outside the place on your way in, and then you come in and you come in late. I'm like, I don't understand that. And you did all that before you got here because you got on the same clothes.
And you don't even look that cute. Never mind that. Didn't look like that should have took you 2 hours to do.
I don't understand
I could have did that spooky eye in 5 minutes.
I don't get it, and that's why I said some people have no respect for someone else's time,
Right.
and that's the part that I think is disrespectful, because just think about if it was you and you gave a party, which you want everybody to come at 8 o'clock and it started at 7. Your food may be ruined on a burner for an hour, waiting for you to get there, get overcooked, so think about if it was you. And you may say, I don't care. Yes, you do. You've never had a party if you don't care.
Right. Now, let me ask you this, because this is something that I see that I feel is bad etiquette, but it's like the norm now. How do you feel about when you invite someone, say you invited people to your wedding or to your gender reveal or whatever it is you're doing, and before you can get home and take your shoes off, 20 of those people have uploaded the entire occasion to Facebook because they all recorded it on their phones.
Yes. And the only way to get around that type of exposure is these days to make an announcement. And you see people with their phone. And if you have a coordinator, or a planner, and you see people recording with the phone, you may go over and talk to them and say, please do not record. They do not want any of their event leaked to Facebook. Now, I used to have a photographer that would follow me to all of my weddings, and he would take pictures, and offer them to the bride and groom, because he may have gotten angles or shots that their original photographer that they hired didn't get. And if he didn't event that day, he would just show up,
But he's a photographer. He ain't just Kiki with her cell phone,
Right. But then too, you didn't hire him to be your photographer, so he does not have the right to publish your wedding photos.
Right. Yeah.
No matter how good they look.
Yeah.
So I even have to have conversations with professionals to say, it was a beautiful wedding. She was a gorgeous bride. You may have gotten some excellent shots, but if you don't have their permission, you should not publish their event or their photos.
Right.
So even, I think some people just go too far, especially when you're doing it with your cell phone and it's doing all these motions because you can't get the angle right. And then you're going to publish my wedding, and this is somebody's back and you trying to get them out the way. You got crazy angles and you're doing that. Or you're taking a selfie and the bride and groom are behind you. You know,
Right.
you have to really stop people from doing that. You
Yeah,
know, but that is the era that we live in these days. And
it
some people,
is.
the ones that are doing it, did not grow up like you and I, where there was still house phones. All they know
Right.
are phones.
Or the camera that you had to take to the Walgreens and
Exactly.
get
The ones
developed.
that leave on the table, the disposable ones, right?
Right, right. Now, a situation like that, yeah, excuse me, I've seen people put those little throwaway cameras on all the tables and say, take
Yeah.
pictures, but I think my thing is when you publish that stuff before the bride and groom even get a chance to decide what they want the entire world to see, is just, it's not right. And
Right.
I saw someone put on here funerals.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
and church. Sunday church. I've seen on Facebook the pastor standing up there, jumping up and down and preaching, and people standing up there, recording and live streaming it to Facebook. And I'm sure the pastor didn't say,
Yeah.
put this
Unless
on
it's their
Facebook.
church sermon being streamed, the little excerpts that some people take from sermons. And you never know, some of them are using them as memes, as jokes, and different things like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think some people go too far. And I don't see how some of this stuff can be staged when they showing people uh, line dancing at funerals and all kinds of stuff like that. But in the grand scheme of things, have a sense of decorum in anything that you do, and certain people have a certain level of class that works within their culture.
Right. Right.
The group of people that they hang around, the family that they grew in, and this is what they know,
Yeah.
and it could be simple things like I told you, my family came from a long line of nannies, mammies, in the South. They believed in keeping your nails clean and not coming to the table without your hair being combed, and your face had to be washed, and you had to have on decent clothes, and you couldn't show up in a t-shirt and jeans if you were a girl, and you had to be dressed for dinner.
Right.
My
Yeah.
mother believed that we had lounge wear that you lounge around the house in, and then you had pajamas that you slept in. If you've been laying around the sofa and on the floor watching TV, you don't get in the bed in those same pajamas, So we had very strict protocol. That's the reason why my mother, made us go to etiquette school and stuff like that, because she believed that we were moving from the South to the North. You had to know how to conduct yourself. You didn't know who you were going to school around and things like that. So it was being socially accepted,
Right.
to etiquette. That's the whole reason behind it. Even if I'm in my home by myself, I have poor circulation and I can't stop myself from crossing my own legs.
Yeah.
Because it's in me, and I sit up straight. I may have a backache after this is over, but if you're sitting in a chair, you can see my back does not sit back like this to the chair. Right. It doesn't belong back there. Your butt belongs to the back of the chair, and then if your butt is to the back of the chair, there's no way that your back can be too, and you're sitting up straight. You can't do both. You can't do this and your butt back, that you're not sitting up straight. You're sitting up straight like that. So,
what, after at 45 and 2 kids, people ask me about my stomach all the time. Like, well, how is your stomach so flat? How you don't have many years ago, an older lady told me, always suck your stomach in. Yeah. And I started doing it, and it was always something that I always did. Like there came a point where I didn't even have to think about it. It was just something that I always did. I always just suck my stomach in, which helps you. You suck your stomach in, it automatically,
it gives you that. Yeah. And see, I think what a lot of people learn from those older women that were in their lives, it worked for them. Like my grandmother, her skin was, like she said, the only way you could tell a woman's age is by her hands if she doesn't take care of her face. My grandmother told me that because, if you, even the women that get facelifts, and you can see the actresses, their hands, they'll never change. They're very veiny. That'll never change. I can tell you a trick that'll remove the veins from your hands in just a few minutes. But my grandmother used to take ice water. She'd get ice out the freezer, put her morning face rag in there. And to her, that would make, her skin tighter, and she wasn't all wrinkled up. Well, me, I'm crazy. I didn't want ice water. So I said, well, I'm going to do the reverse and see what works for me. So every day I just run my towel in steaming hot water because I said, well, in the barbershop, that's the way that they exfoliated men's faces back then. So my towel is extremely hot, and I take it and I lay that hot towel on my face every morning, to keep my skin tight and blemish free. But, I had the cesarean from like 1980 where they split you down the middle, not the bikini. So that flat stomach thing didn't work for me down below, but the ab part, it's okay, but that's why I say even thin women, we have our flaws and
absolutely
need your shapewear, but that's huge. And the way that that your posture is, because you have a nice flat stomach, or if you wear a bra and you make sure that your breasts are lifted, you look better in your clothes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about men. We talked about three things about men that a lot of ladies don't know. And I was telling you, this is something I see all the time, and it just makes me crazy inside. The first thing is, where does a woman walk? When she is walking with a man, where does she walk? In front of him, behind him, 3 blocks to the side of him?
On the inside.
On the inside. And
the reason for that is because if you're walking down a city street, holding hands, laughing and joking and swaying from side to side, if a car should jump the curve and hit one of you, who should the car hit?
Definitely
think about
him.
it. That car gonna hit one of you guys.
You know, first, right? Yeah,
right. It's gonna go for him before you. The man is known as a woman's shield from a lot of things, as the protector, as the shield, as the provider. He's the strong, the one that can take the licking in the relationship, the brunt of everything. So because the man is known as the shield, the woman stands on the inside. And then even so, when you are walking down the aisle, and you're getting ready to get married, you think about it that way. What side, of the man that you stand on in that respect, so it's the same thing. You stand, you're on his right side, you're his, right side.
Absolutely.
And it comes from all that rib thing too. From the very beginning, they said that the woman is taken from that side, that rib, from that man. So that whole rib thing, all that kind of ties into the side that the woman stands on.
Now, a guy told me one time when I was real young, he told me, hoes walk on the outside. So that always stuck with me. I was like, I'm going to always be walking on the inside.
Now, see, that made me think of one thing my mother used to say. She hated. And she said, I don't care if you girls ever grow up and smoke. Because my mother used to smoke. But she never smoked standing up. She said only hoes walk smoking a cigarette or standing up.
Really?
If you smoke, you better do it sitting down. Yes, she hated that. She said women do not walk and smoke. She said a lady sits down if she smokes. Yeah.
Wow, that's funny. All right, so now in a restaurant.
Yeah.
For the ladies that do not know, where does the man sit in a restaurant? Even if you nosy, you can be nosy as you want to be. Where does the man need to be sitting?
Well, you can be on alert because you think your boo may be showing up at the same place, but you do not face the door, right? You
back to the door.
That the man is facing the door. Your back is to the door. And the reason for that is if something pop off, some crazy may not have liked their order
Right.
that took place previously, and he come in hollering and screaming. Your man will see him coming through that door acting crazy and get to him before he'll get to you.
Right.
Your man is your shield. He's shielding you from everything, whether you're walking down the street or whether you're sitting in a restaurant, and we'll get back to restaurant etiquette, but if you are with a man, and this goes to the restaurant as well, and you want your chair pulled out, this is something that you just want the man to do for you. You stand your behind next to the chair.
Right.
Stand next to the chair. That you can, oh, he didn't pull my chair out. Well, you probably had your hand on the back of the chair.
Yes. I think sometimes women do that because I think they don't know if he's actually going to do it or not. And they don't want to, if you were a real fool, this will be the tell all here, because if he sit down, get his menu and his cup and start talking about waiter and you still standing there, well, you can just get your coat and go on home anyway. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of women do that. They just jump to do it because they've never had it done for them, first of all. And they don't know, is he going to pull my chair out for me or not? So,
right.
yeah.
And it just depends on the type of restaurant you're in. Some people, if you get to a restaurant and you have a booth, even so, if you have a jacket, and your gentleman helps you with your jacket before he sit down and before you sit down, his
Right.
thing, take your jacket, put it over his arm, either put it next to him or put it next to you. If it's not a coat rack at this restaurant, there's still an opportunity for him to assist you in sitting down, even if you are sitting in a booth. If you go in a restaurant and you're not sure if he's the type of guy that pulls your chair out, you let him know that this is something you like by standing by the chair and thank him before he even does it. Say, oh, thank you, sweetie. Turn around, look at him, look at the chair.
Yeah.
And then all he knows is he'll pull it out for you, and he'll feel better by doing it. Pull up himself a little bit more when he sit down in his seat, like, yeah, that's the type of chick I'm with. She want her chair pulled out. You know what I'm saying? She was kind of, whatever. She wanted that done. But you got to give them those hints sometimes,
Absolutely. Because you know what? Men need an etiquette class too, because a lot of them don't know. Yeah. They don't know. And a lot of them have been with women who don't require that. It's not necessary. They've gotten away with not having to do that type of stuff. So
yeah.
Just stand there. He'll get the hang of it.
He'll definitely get the hang of it.
Figure it out.
Yes.
Antonio said all these responsibilities from men start on date one, which is why men expect basic respect. Yes. Basic respect is definitely a good thing to give them, especially when more than basic respect, but especially when they're doing those type of things. You were talking earlier about the reason why men are actually supposed to open the car door for you, especially when you have a dress on, which I'd never looked at it like that before.
Right. And it's a basic etiquette on how to sit in a car and get into a car, whether you're by yourself or if you're with a gentleman. And if you are with a gentleman and he opens your car door for you, the way that the gentleman opens up the car door and he stands there after you get in the car is to shield you if you do have a dress on from your leg, being gaped open, and somebody, if you got on a mini dress, shorts, or whatever it is, no one else is supposed to look at his goods, so to speak. And as a lady, when you get into a car, it's very simple. You turn this way. When you open up your car door, sit in your car like you're looking at your passenger window. Your legs are closed. You swing around into your car, both of your legs at the same time, and close your door. You don't open up your car door. This leg is on the outside of the car. You swing this leg open and put that in there next to the accelerator. Then you pull the other leg in the car. That's not the way a lady gets in the car. When you pull both of your legs around with you at the same time, that keeps you from gaping your own legs open while you get in the car. You can wear your mini dress, you can wear shorts, you can wear wherever you want without letting the world see your goods. So it's a protocol and an etiquette in getting into a car. And that's the reason why they say, that the men open the car door for the ladies. Now I did, and this was funny. I dated a guy once. Only one guy said this to me, that he said if the lady is in the car and the guy is going around to get in the car, she's supposed to lean over and pull the handle to open the car door for him.
That was when he was driving that deuce, Miss Lisa. Now, Antonio, I believe, was actually the one that talked about that on a live one night. He said that in the comments. Nowadays, he got the same fob in his hand. Now, when he was driving that deuce and he didn't have that fob, then you would lean over, open his door for him or whatever. But yeah.
And you know what? Like I told him, the way we remedy that in 2022 is, I say, sweetie, I don't know where your door lock is. Is it this one? And hit that door lock for him.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, if you're driving a newer car and you hit the door lock, it's going to unlock his door before it opens up the passenger's door.
Right.
But if you're looking at the etiquette of it all, of me making sure that you're going to walk around, and it's for the man to put you in the cars to make sure you get in the car safely in case something happens.
Right.
That's the reason for the man opening up the car door for the lady. Is to put you in the car safely, to shield you, to protect you. That's what a man is for. You cannot take away, and some women say, oh, I don't need him to open up the car door for me. That ain't no big deal. That's fine. But don't take away from him what's supposed to be in him as a man.
Exactly.
And that's the shield and the protector.
That was mind-blowing for me when I talked about that in a video before. And so many women said, I get my own door. How about everybody just get their own door? Everybody open their, and I'm like, why are you getting your own door? I mean, if you with a man, if he has any good sense about himself, that's something that he knows he should just do. My son knows to get the door for me, and he's my son.
Grandson does that.
Yeah. So it's just,
you teach them early, they'll learn, and it's a behavior that young men learn. But if they don't, it's not too late to teach them, and I'm pretty sure they don't mind learning. It's just no one told them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And the woman is the teacher of the man. If there is no man around, the woman is the teacher of the young man. And then as they get older, a lot of men mimic other personality traits that they see other men have. Oh, that dude's pretty sharp. I'm going to start doing things, so yeah, they learn from other people, as do women,
Right.
It goes both ways.
So ladies, if you with a gentleman and he's still driving a Chevy Cavalier that he got to physically put the key in, lean over and open the brother's door for him.
Yeah, because I've only had that asked me once, and I said, well, what would be the purpose? For her to make sure that you get in the car too, but I guess it didn't register for me. But no, he puts you in the car to show that he's protecting you from the storm. So
let me tell, but when we first got started, there were very few people in here, but I said I put Miss Lisa's Cash App in the comments. I'm actually gonna put it back in there and pin it this time, because we want to make sure we can take care of Miss Lisa when she comes over here and shares her knowledge with us. So I'm gonna put it back in there again.
Yeah, but this is some good conversation. I think it's a lot of women will benefit from it, as I mentioned. And I'm just gonna put my glasses on for a quick second. I wanted to talk about a wedding timeline etiquette, and being a wedding planner for from about 12, a little bit longer, 12 years or longer. My sister and I had a wedding consulting business. She did all the decorating. I did all of the timeline management and all that. So it would come to my attention that people would be engaged, and living together for years. Now, they lived together for a couple years. Then they got engaged, had the engagement party, and then still lived together for maybe another couple years. My question was, what were you waiting for to get married? What was the purpose of getting engaged? So a lot of women don't set that timeline when they get that ring. That's the first thing I got to say. You got to set the expectation with the ring. So what does this say? I can start planning the wedding because it should be 12 to 18 months after you get the ring. Now I can see if you have not lived together, you may want to purchase a home. It don't take 2 years to purchase a home. You can save up some money, put money. That may have been something that you were doing before you even decided to get engaged. A lot of people that get engaged are maybe a little self-sufficient, get married in 6 months or less. But if you take a ring from somebody and you want to know when you should plan your wedding, set the expectation when you get the ring.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times women just want to be able to say, girl, and he just wants to get her off of his badonkadonk and leave him alone about the whole marriage thing. And he's like, okay, let me go out here and cop this ring so this girl can have something to show Shay Shay and all them, and she'll leave me alone for the next 2 years,
Right. Yeah. And then you have some of them that say, oh, well, we can't afford the wedding. Well, is the wedding for you and him, or you having the wedding for your family? Because
the wedding's for everybody else. That's how.
Right. That's who the wedding is for. So you set those timelines based on what, is appropriate for you, because every individual situation is different. But I say, if you want to accept the ring and you want to plan your wedding, you ask when you get that ring, you say, yes, I will. After that, what's the next conversation? We need to start planning this wedding. It's going to be in about 18 months. Let me set the date, if that's what you want to do.
Right.
Know that you're ready to do that. Otherwise, you say, well, we're going to be engaged for a few years because I want to get through with college. I want to do this. I want to do that. You set those appropriate guidelines, and that's the etiquette for the expectations for the engagement.
Yeah.
If you don't set any type of expectations for your engagement, what's the etiquette besides saying, yes, I'll marry you, or okay, or sure, or whatever? You have to set whatever things in motion that you want to be in motion.
Yeah, right. Because if he don't really want to get married in the first place and you just talked him into a ring, he's going to drag that stuff on and on.
For a while.
You're going to be 50 talking about, when is we going to get married? You're going to be like Oprah and Stedman, basically.
Right. And Oprah may have a ring, we'll never see it, or we may not even know that it's on her finger, because at the end of the day, what works for her works for her.
Right.
So
now, let's talk about the next thing I had on my list was being invited to someone's home. What is the proper etiquette when you are invited to someone's home for dinner, cocktail, whatever?
Please take a gift. If it's a bottle of wine, it could be some grocery store flowers. It could be something that that the hostess likes, or a pie for dessert, or a cake for dessert, or some cookies, or go to a bakery nearby and get something if it's going to be 6 or 8 or 12 people, and this isn't the only dessert, then you could get one per person, and it could be something, but take something as a hostess gift. You're not, if it's the guy that invited you and whatever, and he's grilling out, you might want to take him, a grill master, whatever. I don't know, but take something, to the host or the hostess, as a gift, as a thank you for the invite.
Right. What's good to do whenever you go to the dollar store or Home Goods, they always have sales, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. I like to just pick up stupid stuff, Yeah. And it could be like a little hand lotion tray thing that somebody would keep in their bathroom. It could be thank you cards. It could be just stupid stuff, so that you always have something that you could just grab and go. I
Yeah.
get a perfume I don't like. I keep some of them in the box.
Yes.
And I'm going,
Yeah.
then, I'm like, here, girl, because it's not about the host needing you to bring anything. It's just
Right.
about showing your appreciation
For the
to the
invite.
host for
Yeah.
the invite and for everything that they did to
Yeah.
prepare for you,
Exactly.
and yeah,
The
exactly.
food, the decoration, if they have any, the time, their home, the
Right.
wear, tear, the cleanup, the everything. So even the time of the drinks, whatever it is that they planned out for you, you take a gift to the host. Or even if, like, for instance, I don't always go out and purchase something because I make great homemade drinks. I make the bomb mojitos. So
Oh, really? I love
every
a mojito.
oh my God, every time I go somewhere, people say, "Can you bring mojitos?" So I get the mint, I get the lime, I squeeze it myself, I make my own simple syrup. I
Oh,
do
yeah.
everything from
I
scratch.
do too. You need
Yes,
to come
so
here. I got a whole field of mint. We just be sitting up drinking mojitos till we just waste it.
yes, yes. And my girlfriend, she has so much mint. I just go over there and chop it down. I said, I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
up some, and because the other place where I used to live, I had it just growing wild. And
Hmm.
this place, I didn't plant any, but my father has some. So I just go over there and cut it down. But I love the fresh smell of mint. But yeah, I always take homemade drinks. And I think going somewhere, even if it's a dollar store and buying a pitcher or Family Dollar or whatever it is, and you get a $5 size pitcher and you make homemade drinks and put a ribbon on it, I think that's even as thoughtful as buying something.
Absolutely.
So
You don't even have to buy anything. You could sit down if you don't have no money, you could sit down and write a handwritten note. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate,
yeah,
it could
yeah,
be anything, but
anything. Yeah.
you should not show up empty-handed. And when you show up empty-handed, you should definitely not be that one real needy guest that is asking for everything. The one that I have a friend and she's that way. I know exactly what she drinks. But whenever she comes here, we have a full bar. Whenever she comes here, she's like, you got so and so. It'll be something crazy like Douce or something in that little crazy. I'm like, no. She's like, well, that's what I drink. I was like, when did you start drinking that, girl? I made sure you had some Amsterdam. That's what you've been drinking. You start drinking Douce. No, I don't have none. Always being extra, asking for extra stuff, and yeah, bring
Probably
the
because
people
they know as
something.
a hostess, you'll probably get it. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
I always try whenever I know who's going to be here and what they drink. When I'm stocking the bar, I make sure that their drink is on the bar, and I make sure I have my husband and actually doesn't like for people to have to bring stuff when we invite them to an event. He likes for us to have everything that the people need, so we try to make sure that we have everything they need when they come. But
right.
on the flip side of that, don't pack up all the people's food and take it home to your house and eat it for the next 3 days. That's bad etiquette.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think what's even worse, and I don't know who eats like this, but to pile food on top of food on top of food in a to-go container to
Container.
just make sure that you have everything,
Everything.
and wait until all of the guests have arrived and at least 75% of them have gone before you decide to pack up food to go. Now, I've known some people that say, oh my God, this is so good, I'm going to take some of this home. It may not have been enough over there for the people that are here, and you're already planning to take something home. You ask the hostess, oh girl, I need to take some of this home. They'll say, okay, being gracious, more so than I got a few other people that haven't arrived yet, and I want them to, have something. So
Yeah.
etiquette is not setting your sights on someone else's menu to take food home, from their party.
And people will do it. Oh,
Yeah.
they will do it. We had a party here and we spent so much money on food. I wanted to do an international buffet. So we had all the food catered. So we had Mexican food, Chinese food, Italian, Jamaican, soul food, every kind of food. So my husband, before the party started, as the all the different caterers and stuff were bringing everything in, my husband's like, I don't know what we gonna do with all this food. Like, what are we gonna do with all this food? So later on that night, a friend of mine came to me. She said, girl, I'm getting ready to go. You mind if I make a plate? I said, no, girl, please make a plate. I went up to the kitchen with her. We had guests in our house. The next day we had to order pizza for these people to eat.
Wow.
And they told me, they said people were going to their car like this 2 and 3 times. I was so sad. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, they just packed up all the food. Like, all my guests hadn't arrived. They just go into the car with plates. And so we start hiding the plates in foil now. Just hide the foil.
And see, that's the one thing I was just going to say. The only elimination to all of that is nothing is visible as far as carry away containers. Foil is not visible. Carry away container. Now, some people will fix it on a napkin and put a plate on top of a plate, cover it up in a napkin to take what they got to take to go. But the more things you have accessible for people to take, they will take it.
They'll cart it off. They sure will. They'll have stuff in Ziploc bags. Some of them bring their own containers. Containers in their purse. So let's talk a little bit about dining etiquette and the proper way to, let's talk about utensils, because I think that's something that I find that a lot of women don't know and understand, like which way do you need to be reaching, and
right. And it is a rhyme and a reason to it. And usually, I'm not saying usually because I don't know the type of restaurants that a lot of people are invited to, but it's the courses are based on the number of forks that you may have placed, for your dinner. If you're having a 3-course meal, 4-course meal, 5-course meal, that's extensive table setting. Usually we go to places and it's your salad or your soup and your main entree, and then they'll bring your dessert, and you may have 2 forks on your table for that reason.
Right.
So as far as where your forks are placed and your spoon and your knife, where the blade is to the bend of the plate, and then next to that are your spoon and your forks. And then you use your fork from the outside in. So if you have 2 forks, the first fork that you use is for your salad. You're eating with that fork. And then the next fork that you have is for your entree. When you're finished, if you go to a restaurant and you only have the 1 fork, you want to make sure that you clean your fork, because you'll need it for your main course as well. If you have 2 forks, then one can be used, of course, for your salad, and the next one for your main meal. And it is said that you turn your fork over. The tines are the number of forks, the prongs that you have on the fork, where the tine side is down, and they said the hump is up. And then that way that the waiter or waitress know that you're finished with your meal. But before we get to your forks, when you get into a restaurant and you have your, and it depends on the type of restaurant that you're in, if your water glass is down and it's not turned up, and I don't know if they still do it this way because of the pandemic, but before that, if your water glass is down, in order to signal the waiter that you're ready to be serviced your water, you would need to turn the glass over, and the waiter comes over to service you your water. Now, with that being done, you automatically put your napkin in your lap at a triangle. And the reason is because if you do start drinking your water, condensation from your glass or whatever could drip into your lap. It's not saying that you put your napkin down just because you getting ready to eat your dinner, even with water, or if you're having a beverage, your martini or your whatever you're drinking could drip into your lap. While it's at a triangle, you pick it up at the triangle tip and you wipe the corners of your mouth. and you put it back in your lap. Your napkin does not get folded up into your shirt, to keep you from dripping on your shirt. Leave it in your lap. So then that's when your beverages and everything come. Of course, while you're at the table, make sure no objects other than what you need for your dinner is on the table. No purse, no keys. Turn your cell phone off. Don't vibrate. Then the only time you take it and checked it for texts is when you're taking a break from the table. If you're taking a break and say, after you've ordered your meal, you don't want to really disturb anything until your waiter comes, order your drinks, look at your menu with your person that you're with, decide what it is that you want to order. The waiter comes over, takes your order. At that time, that's when you excuse yourself from the table. If you got to go to the washroom, to wash your hands, to do whatever. At that time, that's when you check your cell phone.
Right.
Because you don't want to be in a restaurant and it's vibrating on the table.
No.
You don't want to be in a restaurant and the music is going off, your ringtone. Everybody looking around because if they got AT&T, about 3 or 4 other people got the same ringtone.
Is some holes in this house? There's some holes.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, now, let's say, for instance, though, you're at a dinner party where you're not going to be ordering, but you're going to be served, right?
Okay.
Let's tell the people when you can actually eat. When should you start eating your food?
When the hostess start eating their food. When the like if I'm the birthday girl, you don't eat before I eat. When I pick up my fork to eat, that's when you eat. That's when the dinner starts. When the main person, what do you call it? The main person of the event.
Yeah.
And then you eat the pace of the dinner. You don't eat like a snail and they're on the main course and you're still eating your salad. Right. You don't want them to wait for you to finish eating your dinner because you're talking before they can start serving dessert. So you look at the pace of the meal that's being served. If you see everybody else is finishing up and you haven't finished up, either you start eating or you just gonna have to let it go because they're already moving on to dessert and you can't keep the whole table waiting for you to finish.
Right. But now
so you have to be mindful of that.
Right. But if it's a situation where you're like in a banquet type setting and there are many, many, many tables of people, then you just don't start eating until everyone at your table has been served.
Yeah. Or set. I mean, like for instance, if you sitting down and it's dinner style and not family style. If it's dinner style and then everybody's getting a separate dinner with their filet and their shrimp or whatever on a plate, and the waiter is bringing each one their own plate, then when everybody at that table get their plate, you start eating.
Right.
Just like if you were at a long event table and the waiter comes out and they're serving everybody, then that's when you start, when the main person gets their food and they start. So
and different ceremonies or different functions, the rules could be different. I think I told you about when I went to my very first military ball and I went in and my feet were hurting. They opened up the doors and just let everybody come into the ballroom, and I saw that table that said Eva. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I thought I could never. And I sat down and this lady came running over to me. She was like, you get up. You do not sit until the head table comes in. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's the same way at a wedding reception. Yeah. It should be.
Yeah.
But, the head table, sometimes they let you into the reception hall and then it takes them 4 hours to go take photos. And by then your feet is bleeding and everything else. But yeah, you should not sit until the head table has been seated. And then you can sit down. Yeah.
Yeah.
The gentleman, if there's a man that's taking you somewhere and this is your first time doing this, there are 2 things you need to do. Like you said earlier, Google. You need to Google the proper etiquette for whatever situation you're going to be attending. And then you need to ask the gentleman. Because, like, I don't know if you remember with Meghan and Harry, there was no reason in the world why Meghan should have made it to that palace and did not know what was expected of her. You know, shame on Harry not to tell her what was expected of her. You know, the gentleman should tell you. And if he doesn't know, he should put you in touch with someone that does know the proper etiquette, the proper attire, all of that.
And I agree but disagree. If you're Meghan and Harry is the royal of royalists.
Right.
His grandmother is the queen, for God's sake. They set the standards for everything that happens in the UK and abroad, pretty much. You have to know that you got to be on your A game. So she should have, even boys, they may downplay it because they thinks it's no big deal. Just be yourself. I love you. Everybody will love you.
Well, yeah, he probably
doesn't work
did
like
think
that.
Yeah.
You know, that's how men think. I don't care what my kids think. I love you. It don't matter. It ain't no big deal. Just wear whatever makes you feel comfortable. I get that. It could be a dress up, but and y'all thought you said just what, baby, you look good to me. So sometimes
You're right.
They downplay the severity or even the magnitude.
I didn't think about it. You're right.
Yeah. That a woman could eventually place herself in. Because she didn't want to be behind the 8 ball. But my thing is, if I think I got to be right here for Oprah, well, hell, I need to be right here for the queen.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that was common sense to me. Meghan should have made sure she was ready so she didn't have to get ready and she didn't have to have Harry to make her get ready. She should have known to be on her A game. Now, with other people, I could question that because she could show up any way she want, but because she's royal, she is accepted in face of everybody other than the queen.
Yeah, well, I think she thought she was royalty prior to marrying him, so it seemed like maybe she didn't think she had anything to learn or any.
Look at Princess Diana. They didn't accept her, and she was from over there. You know what I'm saying? So if the queen shunned Diana and you half black, what do you think is going to be said about you and your little black babies to be?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want them in my bloodline. So you have to know that if someone has been the queen for almost 100 years, however old the woman is, she's been queen and been groomed to be queen for all these years. And she's not had the blood of the royal family tainted.
Right. Yeah.
So to know that you're marrying a woman that's got black in her family and potentially any heirs to my throne could have that blood, she don't even want to think about it. She's old.
Right. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, that woman is she ain't doing nothing different than what she's always been doing. They brought that difference to her because people always think, well, we live in a different day. We live in a different time. Do we? Some of us do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
but
like
in her mind, the royal books that she read from, the law is the law and it is what it is. They used to marry second cousins and all that. And they'd rather marry in their family than to keep their bloodline clean than to marry outside the family.
Right. Yep, you're right about that.
So you're talking about etiquette and protocol. That's what they lived by. That was their etiquette and protocol. And that was to keep their bloodline clean. And that didn't mean black folks. That meant anybody that wasn't royal or had a succession in their bloodline.
Right. Yeah, you try. So don't ask the men, then Google. Get on Google. Because they gonna downplay it. Now, pertaining to dining, someone put in the comment section one of my biggest pet peeves. I saw the word smacking. I didn't even get to read the comment because it was scrolling up so fast. But I don't know if I'm petty in this life or what. I feel like it's a choice. I feel like if you smack, you you just don't really have no home training. It's something you can control. Is it
It's just
bad
a matter
etiquette?
of chewing with your mouth closed.
Right.
Some people feel like, and you know what? And this is funny because some people eat to the point where other people like to watch them eat.
Well,
And if
I'm
you
saying this.
ever watch the brat eat, the brat, if you watch the Brat Loves Judy or follow her on Instagram, she
Mm-mm.
eats food like it is the best tasting food in the world. You want to eat what she's eating.
No, but you
The
know what?
whole time she's smacking.
I
But she,
can't watch
oh my,
people eat. I don't
oh my
like to
God.
watch people eat.
Oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God. She eats it like you want to say, where the hell is that restaurant? But that's the way she eats food. And believe it or not, you know, some people are turned on by it. Now, I don't turn away from it because it disgusts me. But if I was in a restaurant with somebody who was smacking, I would want to smack them. But because she eats it like it's so damn good, it's not a
Yeah.
turn. But yeah, that eating food, you don't know if it's going to fly across the room because they're chewing, their mouth is open. That's a turn off for me.
Yeah. I just it just takes little effort to chew with your mouth closed. And somebody said, oh, so Tori said LOL watching people eat. I thought she said she loves watching people eat, but yeah, I don't like to watch people eat. Like I see the whole mukbang thing. I'm like, well, and these people have millions and millions of views. So I'm like, there are millions of weird people out here who like to just sit up and watch people chew food. I
Well,
don't
you
like
know
to watch
what?
people eat.
When I used to teach mindfulness, and that is the art form of just making sure that your mind stay focused. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to teach this in order for women to try to achieve orgasm because they say women's mind wanders. So when you study mindfulness, there were certain things that people would focus on. The number one thing that people like to do, and I think it was last April when we did that one class, was watching people eat crushed ice.
Really?
Just hearing them eat the crushed ice, watching their mouth move and chewing crushed ice. Some people whistle, you know, and people just the form that their mouth take. And it would just be this much of the video, just their mouth moving.
Uh-huh.
They could like the fact that I have large lips and just seeing my teeth move. So those were the videos that a lot of people would watch. And it wasn't the whole person's face. I could possibly, if I just recorded my mouth moving, words could come out or not. Some people just like to watch your mouth move, but they like to watch you chew ice. They like to watch you whistle. It was certain things that people could do that would bring attention to other people that would calm them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it was an Asian girl. They got all those millions of views for chewing ice. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I could think of so many other things to watch. That would be as hard as watching the Tiny Cooking channel. Have you ever seen the Tiny Cooking channel?
No.
They are cooking. I'm sure there's some type of camera trick or something, but it looks like they're cooking teeny tiny food in these teeny tiny skillets, and they're making like whole meals. They're making like teeny tiny lasagna and teeny tiny fried chicken. It is, and millions of views on these videos.
No, I've never seen. See, I don't even. I can't even watch the tiny house. I get
I like to,
claustrophobic
really,
because
I
I'm
want a
thinking
tiny house.
I'm a tiny person and I don't like a lot of room. But I think if I knew I was confined to a little room, it would make me claustrophobic. Yeah.
Yeah, I want a tiny house. I want to build a tiny house out in back
And see,
of
I have
our
a tiny
house.
car. I love my tiny car. I drive a Mini Cooper,
Oh,
you
do
know.
you? Oh,
So I have a tiny car and I like it, especially with the gas prices, you know,
oh,
today.
I'm sure.
And all of my cars take premium gas. I even put premium in the Cooper. But yeah, I like it for that reason because it's cute. It can zip in and out of places. But when I'm shopping, I can't buy a few things because the damn car is too small.
Oh,
I
well, that's
mean, the
the kind of
trunk is,
car I need when I'm shopping.
well, I have to drive my large car when I go shopping.
Oh,
But if I'm not looking to, I could put a broom in there, I think. But like I was saying, I got to go to Menards tomorrow, but I can't drive the tiny car because I got to get something that's too big to fit in there, like my bulk tissue and stuff.
oh
So,
yeah. Oh, it doesn't even hold bulk tissue. Wow, it is
well,
tiny.
I can't
Yeah.
get the bulk toilet paper and paper towel
Oh yeah.
and the bulk stuff, all of the bulk stuff. And then if
Yeah.
I do, I need to bring it home before I go somewhere else. Because if I put that in there, it's a done deal. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of car I need. Girl, go get 3 pairs of shoes and take your tiny car so you make sure you don't get 4.
exactly. Exactly.
Let's talk about showing too much skin. And then we're going to take some calls or some questions from our lovely viewers.
Yes.
What's your take on that? Because we live in a day of body positivity. Is there any such thing as showing too much skin? And
well, I always say if you got to think about it, then it's too much. If you're comfortable with what you're wearing and you don't look in the mirror and question it like, God, is that too much? It's too much. If you feel like you want to show the breast and the legs, that's too much. I say either, have some cleavage and all that nice juiciness up at the top and be covered at the bottom.
nothing at the
Leave
bottom.
something to the imagination. But if you got on something short, thighs popping, you could have on a turtleneck and still look good because, you're showing something, but you don't have to show it all. Like my mother used to say, don't give the whole store away. Leave something for them to want to purchase, from the store, just like as a single woman, you don't give all your treasures to a man as a single woman. Save something for your husband. You give all your goods to one man. It's like, well, what do you have to offer to the man that you want to share the rest of your life with?
Nothing. Baggage.
So, exactly.
Drama.
You want to say, well, you was the first to do this or the first to do that. Make them feel good about being the first at something.
Right.
But you turn in every trick in the world and get this one, and then you turn the same tricks for number 2, but showing everything to everybody at the same time, that's just too much.
Good. But I think that you said something that doesn't exist though anymore. You said if you put something on and you look at it and you think it's too much, these girls don't think it's too much. They don't put it on and look at it. They got it from Shein or the Fashion Nova. Okay. And they saw the model on the picture and how she looked in it, and they put it on and they just say, they take that phone out and start taking pictures. They don't have because I can say with myself, I've always been kind of like, if it was too much, I'll be self-conscious or I'd be like pulling or tugging or, it's just too much. But these girls, a lot of them don't have that.
Well, and this is the one thing that we used to learn as younger girls, with undergarments as far as slips under your dress in order to make your dress lay better against your clothes and not be clingy. Or if you have on a dress of thinner material, you don't want the sunlight to hit you and they can see that thigh gap, in between your dress, and that's what a slip was for. And that's leaving something to the imagination more so than them seeing the sky, the thigh gap, just the silhouette of the woman turns the man on. So when you showing too much, once you get with that man and he said, well, you're going to have to do such and such. Well, you met me like this. Okay, well, that's because I'm a man and men are visual creatures anyway. They're gonna.
Right.
It's nothing that you're doing any different from the girl down the street, except for I'm looking at yours and I'm commenting on yours. But because I'm a man and you're showing it to me, I want to look anyway. They built the strip clubs and stuff for men and women that like to look at beautiful women.
Right.
But at the same token, men are so visual, it's easier for them to make it rain because they're getting what they want out of it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
emotionally, if it's a woman in there, you're making me feel great about being a woman and looking at a woman, then yes, but that don't make me pop off them dollars like it would a man. You know, men
Right.
like
Right.
look at what they want. So when you showing everything to them, yeah, they're gonna look. Of course
Yeah.
they're gonna comment.
Yeah.
You
I
know, and
just,
everybody's type for every man could be a turn on. Some men like
yeah.
thicker women, thinner women, full
Right.
figure, big booty.
I even think we live in this day where I was watching something, and I think this young lady was a professional something, and it might have been an athlete or something. Don't quote me on that. But she got on the plane, and all she had on was a sports bra and I believe a pair of short shorts. And they asked her to cover up, and the world was in an uproar. Oh my God, how dare them ask her to cover up? How dare him? And I'm thinking to myself, well, why do you need to get on a plane where there are children, there's people's husbands, the
Yeah.
guys, they're trying to work, you're on a plane, put on a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants. Why do you need to get on a plane in a crop top and a pair of booty shorts? It's not
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
appropriate.
It's
But
not
the
appropriate.
world was pissed. They were like, the airlines issued her an apology. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell y'all apologizing for? She got on a plane half dressed.
Now, that
Unacceptable.
Lizzo, I can't remember if that was Lizzo.
No, it wasn't Lizzo. This
Okay.
young girl, and actually, let me tell you something. This girl, I want to say she was a soccer player. If anybody in the comment section knows who I'm talking about, put her name in the comment section below. Really fit, extremely fit, sports bra and teeny tiny like micro shorts, and you went through the airport, you walked all the way through the airport, you went through the checkout, and then you even thought it was okay to get on the plane dressed like that.
Well, and and it's especially not, whether you're going out in public or even, going to a local grocery store, but you're going through an airplane and you think that that's okay. And some people take that, I can just do what I want to do and wear what I want to wear and be as
Right.
liberal as I want to be. And speaking of Lizzo, and I have no body shaming to say in reference to the way that she likes to portray herself, but based on whatever body shaming she may have suffered in the past, I think the way that she's getting over it is a little too explicit. In some ways, Lizzo, she
Right.
just be more so naked than anything,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I don't feel that it's art. I don't feel like it's artistic. I don't feel like it's any of those things. I
Yeah.
think that she's making a statement. My daughter was saying something about, oh, she's promoting self-confidence. Well, I look at that and I don't see that that's self-confidence. I see
No.
you know, a person
No.
that's disturbed, that feel like that they have to be accepted by society by showing all of their skin. I'm a sexologist and I don't walk around dripping everything that has to do with sex in order for people to know that I'm a sexologist. You know,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I
Yep.
think that's a little bit too much. So
Um,
that's too much skin to me.
yeah, when I was younger, of course I was in the gym, so I had a body to kill for, and I used to love to share it with the world. But
Yeah,
I thought everybody needed to see it. So when
right.
I went out, I like to wear body dresses. Sometimes I like to have my midriff out, because I
Yeah.
had a little 4-pack, then a 6-pack. But this guy that I was dating, he bought me a suit for Christmas one year, right? And I was like, when I opened that suit up, because it was in a big old long box, he got it from Dillard's. And I ripped the box open and I pulled this suit out. It was a cream color, right? And it was a blazer. It had the slacks with it. The blazer had a belt that went around the waist. And I said, oh, you gave me your mother's Christmas gift. Like I don't wear this type of stuff. And he told me, he said, the next time you go out, I want you to wear that suit. And I was like, I would be caught dead in this suit. I'd be damned. So he kept asking me. I kept putting it off. So finally I said, you know what? I'm gonna wear the suit. I'm gonna wear the damn suit. So I went out, I got me a white shirt to wear under it. I went and got some cream colored pumps that matched the suit. And I went out to my little favorite stomping grounds, right? And I walked in the guy that worked at the door, he said, "You look amazing." That night, people that had never ever said anything to me ever before, and they saw me every weekend because I was every weekender, said something to me that night. "Oh my God, you are killing it. You look really nice. You look beautiful." And I was like, what the hell's wrong with these people? Like, I ain't got nothing but my hands showing, you know. But then that was when it dawned on me, and that changed me, you know. Now that wasn't the moment that I stopped altogether wearing my scantily clad clothes, but I did start to really slow down because it showed me that, wow, there was a different type of respect from different types of individuals that saw me constantly and always and thought that I looked amazing, and I ain't have nothing showing but my hands and my face, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, young girls don't get
with
it.
a mother that taught me hashtag church girl growing up. My mother kept us in dresses, and even now, I think 90% of my wardrobe in the summertime is a dress.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very rare that I'll wear pants or even shorts because, like I said, I'm 100 pounds, and I don't think that I'm shapely, you know, for the size that I am, as far as little hip and breast and all that. But I always felt so ladylike and girlish and
Oh
sexy
yeah.
in a dress. So my dresses can go from long, sweepy dresses to very short, mini dresses. I'll even go buy a shirt and wear it as a dress. You know, it's a long shirt and it can cover, like my mother said, the meat back there. Then I can wear it as a dress. So I'll turn anything into a dress, but I love a dress, whether it's cut out, cut up, whatever,
right.
cover. I feel like I can make it sexy because it's a dress. So
And
give me a dress.
Men love, for the women that care and the women that are out here looking for a man, men, there is something about a dress. I'm telling you, men love to see a woman in a dress.
Yes.
You know, they love that. And it's so rare, you know, unless it's what is that? Nylon or spandex, you know, it's rare to see a woman actually in a beautiful dress, you know, good, nice, pretty sundress, big hat.
Yes.
And when men see that, they go crazy. They love seeing that.
Yeah. And if you ask them to take you shopping and what it is what you need to get, I just want to buy a pretty dress. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, you go get that dress, and well, maybe you'll take me out to dinner, and when you get, and they'll love that. A dress, whether you have on flats or sandals or whatever, it's the summertime. Men love it. They love a nice dress, mini dress, summer dress, whatever.
And don't you feel different when you put on a dress? Like don't you just feel like, oh.
Yes, I do. And I love my sundress, and they make you feel a certain type of way. The dress that you put on, I have the blue jeans, the kind that you can put on a jacket with and dress it up in a minute, a blue jean jacket over a long spaghetti strap. You know, I just love a dress.
I do too. I love a dress. I love to put my hands in my pockets and just twirl. I say that whenever I do my little clothes videos. I'm like, just put your hands in your pockets and twirl. Yeah. Because it has to have pockets. The dress must have pockets.
Yes.
Now, someone asked in the comment section, I saw, and if you have questions and you want to call in, you may click on the Zoom link, but don't play no games. Don't come up in here with no porn this weekend because I ain't got time for it. I done put 3 people out of there already that I knew for a fact was spam. So, someone said, how do you stop your husband from smacking? It's possible. I stop my husband from smacking unless he thinks I ain't around. And that's how I know he has control over. Because if he's downstairs eating and he don't think I can hear him, he'd be going to town. But he has improved a great deal. And when you get out in public, all you do is this. And they know they'll cut it out. That's how you stop your husband from smacking. It's possible. Let me get some more questions. Oh, Tawana just found slip dresses. That's the thing. I love a slip dress. Yeah. I have one that's like, I haven't worn it yet, but it's like this like copper color. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. Yeah. Love and Life with Lane said, hello, ladies. Good evening. These young ladies live by a different set of rules. The rule is no restrictions, not necessarily in a good way. Yeah, unfortunately, that is so true. I think someone was asking, where do you purchase slips? Or there's a lot of slip wearers in here. I'm so happy. I still wear a slip. I don't know who decided that slips were no longer needed.
But if you want to get some inexpensive shapewear, even a slip, go to Burlington. You can go to Burlington Coat Factory. I got a half slip, because I like to wear dresses even in the wintertime and it's a little cold. And I have very nice longer dresses that I wear with boots, but I like for the dress to not gap in between my legs when I'm walking. So therefore I have a slip that comes to my knee, so when I'm walking, the dress doesn't go in between my legs. I go to Burlington. I get them in white, black, and beige, and different colors based on what I wear. Then I have the full slip. If I have on a dress that I want to make sure that there are no, that it's fitting well and you can't see through the top of it or whatever. So yeah, JCPenney, Sears, Burlington, places like that. Please do yourself a favor. Look great in your clothes. Wear a slip.
Absolutely. I say I like Kohl's because I love Naomi and Nicole. I love their shapewear.
Yeah.
It's so good. They make everything. They make a slip, they make a shorts, the Spanx, everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, did we miss anything, Miss Lisa? Was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think we covered everything that was basically on the list, talked about quite a few things that weren't on the list. I think we covered. Yeah.
Okay, Angela wants you to talk about how to remove the veins from your hands.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that because if you have very veiny hands and if you hold your hands up like this, you allow the blood to drain. Have your hands up. If you see that your hands are very veiny and you want to take a photo and you say, oh my God, my hands look so veiny, hold your hands up. You allow the veins to the blood to rush and replace itself. And then you place your hands back down. When you place your hands back down, they're not as veiny as they were when they were, just resting. So if you are going to take a photo and you see you have very veiny looking hands, you look at them because you've been stressed out working with your hands or whatever, then just hold your hands up, let your hands relax, bend your fingers a little bit. And after the blood rush, and I learned this from a photographer, when we were taking photos and it was an older lady in the photo and she was like, oh God, my hands give me away. He said, well, just hold them up for a little while, let the blood rush. And when you put them back down, that removes the veins from your hands. So when you take a photo, they look very smooth.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good information. I think that if there was one thing that I would change about myself, it would be my hands. I have not been kind to my hands, like gardening and carpentry and everything else that I call myself participating into. And then COVID, like honestly, like amping up. I've already always been a hand sanitizer junkie, like just have hand sanitizer everywhere, but really using it constantly and all day just got my hands looking a whole hot mess. So I need to do this for like 4 hours straight. Just oh no. I said if I could have hand surgery, I sure would, y'all.
And that's one of the only surgeries cosmetically that there's nothing, one of the only, like you can have foot repair, you can have finger repair and replacement, but you can't remove, the age from,
Right.
and your age shows on your neck and your hand. And those are the two places you cannot remove it from. So, yeah.
Now, someone told me that women get a ring for every 10 years of life. And I said, I think that's true. I think I got 4 rings.
Yeah. And usually, and if you listen to older women, they say, oh, you women age like a tree. And that means, you count
is that what that?
trunks.
Okay. Yeah.
On the rings on a tree trunk to tell the years of a tree's age.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the rings on a woman's, neck. Now, some women get the gobble, before others. And, they did this for years where they, made sure that your neck wouldn't have that second chin or the double chin or something like that. But you can't remove those rings, which tells the true age of a woman.
Yeah.
And that you change, your body changes every 7 years. So if you look at the changes physically that your body goes through every 7 years, there should be a change that you see. Either weight, something changes every 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me read some comments. Ramona says some women need to wear Spanx when wearing clinging clothes. It's so unattractive. When everything is jiggling, we need to teach our women. Yeah, we talked about that, how it's bad etiquette to not wear the right undergarments.
And some people think the cellulite is I've never thought that was cute. And some people try to get, rid of it. But if you can wear body shaping garments to at least smooth out that part, whatever goes on under your underwear, if the person that you are significantly attracted to is accepting of that, then that's fine. The whole world don't have to see that.
Right, exactly. And nowadays, young girls, like really, really young girls get cellulite. Like they get it at an early age now.
Yeah.
I never had cellulite until I was probably almost 40 when I had noticeable cellulite. I never had it. My son was running track and when he was in high school, and I would see the little young girls and I'm like, why do they have this, wrinkly stuff on their legs? But I think it's because they all have such poor diets,
That's the one thing. And then especially if they have children and they've had poor diets, because sometimes when you have those poor diets and you're eating the fast food and you're pregnant and you have children and you don't exercise and the cellulitis starts to clot in your legs and you don't exercise that away, then it only gets worse before it gets better.
Right. Yeah.
And like you say, you've already been a person that was conscious of your body. So you worked out to the point that you didn't allow that to form, and things may have changed when you hit your 30s or 40s or whenever you saw it start to form, it was a matter of age and change.
Yeah. Now T-Chi, B Queen TV, I don't know. She said this, and she says, I think as women, we are way too hard on ourselves. I wish folks were concerned about their intelligence versus their outer parts. I can agree with that. I think we're way too hard on ourselves, and excuse me, we're way too hard on each other. Like even with doing this, right? Sometimes women are in the comment section and they're like, I can see your lace, or Eva, your foundation's wrong, or don't wear that wig again, or, and it's like, damn, pardon my French, I hate this word, let a bitch live.
Yeah. But you know what? Instead of uplifting other women for teaching them, even if it's one thing that you learned tonight, it's not about the way my hair looked. It's not about the way your hair looked.
Exactly.
It's 8, 9, 10 o'clock. I don't even know what time it is, but whatever time it is, it's late enough at night that I could be asleep. You could be asleep. We could be doing a variety of different things. But in order to educate in a professional manner and communicate is what we're doing, uplifting and teaching you one thing, even if it's about dinner etiquette that you didn't know, or your significant other, or if it's about your undergarments. You know, if your
Exactly.
mother didn't
Yeah.
teach, you didn't go to a class to learn it, this is something that you're learning that's new, then use it as a jewel, you know, and carry that nugget with you to pass on to another lady. And then we don't have to worry about being critical of one another, other than passing on a gem that you learned. And you can say, I listened to Eva Monroe's show and she and another lady were talking and they said this, and that
Right.
stuck with me. It could be
Right.
one
Right.
thing that
Exactly.
changed
I agree
your
with that.
life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that I always say. I'm like, I'm not talking about my hair. We know I got some good wigs. You can't even tell they wigs. And you know, I got some horrible wigs. Like this wig I got on, this is my soccer mom wig. If you comment on it, you're getting blocked. But no, I'm serious. It's like, that's so, you know, and I hear women do it with other women, even celebrities. Oh, did you see so and so? She's so thin, and or did you see so? It's like, dang, we need to be lifting each other up. We got enough problems: wrinkles, cellulite, menopause. We going through enough. It's hard out here, you know.
Right.
Some of us still trying to find husbands.
Right.
Times is rough right now. Gas is $32.50 a gallon. It's like, let's be more kind to each other.
Right. But to the person that made that comment, I think that they're so right. And I hope we are conveying this conversation in a manner that is intellectually stimulating and awakening, to the point that we know, you know, as Black people, we're put under a spotlight for any and everything that we do and don't do, and know and don't know. But if we conduct ourselves in a professional manner, in a professional dress, whether it's business etiquette, because I was in corporate America with AT&T and Comcast for over 20 something years of my life. So there's even business etiquette when you go to these boardrooms, and even though you're working from home, there's Zoom calls. You know, there's a whole lot of things where you have to know etiquette for different phases of your life. So if it's your social life, your physical life, your business life, whatever life, your entertainment life, you know, whatever life you choose to live, there's an etiquette and a standard that everybody should set for themselves. Absolutely. You know, the girl that's the hottest person in the room, she might be the one fluttering around the party, got a hot body, all that's going. But that chick over there in the corner, the one that looks real mysterious, like, you don't know what's on her mind. She ain't got a lot of people swarming around her. Right. That's the one people are paying attention to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the loud one. I was never, even today, people say, Lisa, how can you be a sexologist and you be an introvert? When I go out, I observe more so than anything. I'm not the social butterfly tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, it's me. I'm Lisa. I'm the sexologist. I want to talk. That's never me. But if I was at the same party with you, I observed everything. And I can bring it to your remembrance. You know, so I say to some ladies, it ain't about if you're quiet, that's an attribute. You know, if you're communicable and you know how to communicate, that's an attribute.
Right.
But you would use it to the best of the benefit for you, you know, which works for you. So
absolutely. That's always my thing. I just want, you know, all women to take something from this. But I think my sisters, because sometimes they're the ones that are like, well, they don't, you know, and they don't look at, and they don't look, but we know how, you know, closely they watch us, you know, and my thing is always don't give them something to look at, you know, don't give them a behavior to spectate or to record on their cell phone. Don't give them
you know, we have gotten accolades and everything that we choose to do well, whether it's basketball or whatever. And it doesn't matter who you are, because they turned Oprah away from some of the best stores they say that's in the world. You know, they turned Oprah away, the woman with billions of dollars, you
Aaron
know.
is
So,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
so, you know, you can't say that even the Obamas, and they held the highest office in the United States of America.
Right.
And you heard people talking about they couldn't speak well or didn't walk right or had on a dress that didn't have any arms in it. How dare she dress like this? Like we weren't socially accepted.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that protocol comes into play no matter who you are.
Right.
You know, you can say, well, I don't want to be the Obamas. I would love to live a day in her shoes. Right. Even if that meant just being able to stand next to Barack. You know what I'm saying? That would be the number one benefit. But at the same token, you know, I would Google how it is I'm supposed to eat in the White House. You know, so yeah, the highest office in the world. You're not prepared for that. And people take you through classes on how to prepare you to live that life. You know, they say, I'm not about that life. And you'll never get to be about that life if you don't get to certain protocols in your life. And that's just the long and short of it.
Yeah, so because if you want to be about that life, I'm telling you, I used to practice and watch stuff, you know, and read about, if you feel like you want to be around a certain type of people or you want to do a certain type of thing, work on it, you know, work on yourself now, work on that, start practicing that type of stuff, learn how to hold your wine glass, learn how to conversate with different types of people, you know. It's important. Yeah.
And you know, when a man noticed, well, and this is a funny story. You was telling a story earlier. I thought about this. This one guy, a place where I used to frequent, and it was my alter ego because I used to do very sensual and erotic readings, you know, at this one club. So I would go down there and my theme music before I would walk on the stage was Instrumental in Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers, because I used to, you know, have the voice and the whole 9-10 o'clock at night atmosphere at the club. It was dimly lit, you know, and all this other stuff. But before I would walk up to the stage, even if I had my coat on, I would take my coat off and someone would come and get my coat. And the guy made the comment, he said, you know, you take your coat off like you in slow motion. I said, I'm not in a hurry. And I don't want to wrinkle what I have on under my coat. You know, because I see some people wrestling with their coat. When they get in a place, they unbutton it, taking it off so fast. It's like you wrestling with your own coat. Take your time. Take your jacket off. Let people pay attention to the fact that she looked like she taking her coat off in slow motion. Get some attention while you're taking off your coat so that they can see what you have on under the coat. Whether it's pretty, whatever. You got attention. But you taking it off so fast, like you wrestling, throwing it over the seat, sitting down, purse on the table and your keys. Calm down. Your purse belongs in your lap. Like I think I was talking to you earlier. A lot of people don't think about when you're on a date. And you got keys like Book of the Janitor. You know, you got keys everywhere. You know.
He's a Booker.
Girl, you know. Don't make me cough, okay? Because you know it's right there coming. But Book of the Janitor had keys to everything. And you know, you go into a place, you don't even need your keys, number one, because you know, you're not getting ready to roll up out of the joint, you know, with your keys. Take your key off your key ring where it'll fit in your purse if you're the driver. If you're not the driver, leave your keys in the car. That's just one less thing you have to worry about wanting to sit on the table or the bench next to you, you know? And put your purse should be able to fit in your lap if you're sitting in a chair. Some girls have a purse chair, you know, everybody put their purse chair, that's fine. But do not put your purse on the table over here because nobody's sitting over there. You and your friend are sitting here. So I'm gonna put my purse on the table there. No. Your purse does not go on the table. You know, some people use the little hook that you put on the table and it hangs from under the.
I don't even like those. I
I
feel
hate
like
that.
if you went to a restaurant, a very nice restaurant, or you're at a very nice event, if your bag is big enough to hang on one of those things, you brought the wrong bag.
You bought the wrong bag. Number
Yeah,
one, they should have a tablecloth on there that shouldn't allow you to do that while you're messing that up.
exactly.
And then
Yeah,
number three, you don't hang your purse off the back of a chair. So that's just like hanging your purse off the table to me. So I don't know.
right,
That
right.
never worked for me. I've never wanted one of
Yeah,
those
no,
things.
you just
Yeah.
need something of this size or smaller.
Yeah.
Typically, you
Yeah.
can put your lip gloss and your key. But whenever you see people with keys like that nowadays, don't you wonder what the hell do you have keys to?
Right.
Like,
And
what do
how do you
you
get in the house safely? Oh, I
have?
know what key it is. You can go head on. No, you don't. You
I
know, but
have
you said
one
something.
key. Yeah,
What?
I have one key and a fob, and
Yeah.
that I have every day. That's it.
Right.
That is
Now, the
it.
one thing you said that was key that I did forget to mention was lipstick. Lipstick at the table. Do you put lipstick on at the table? There is a yes and a no to that answer. And a lot of people don't know that, just like the elbows on the table. There's a yes and a no to that answer. To the lipstick, first of all, you can put on your lip gloss or lipstick in between or after your meal, but not with a mirror. You're not doing a whole production like breaking out the mirror and doing all that. If you can
Yeah,
take it out your purse and you know where your lips are
and
and you just do it like
discreetly.
that
Yeah,
and you're good to go, that's fine. But there's no whole production at the table. If you're at a big banquet hall, then of course. If you're at a business dinner and people can watch you, then no. But if you're with personal friends or you're with a significant other, then yes, you can do the lipstick at the table, but only after the course is gone. And if you're not eating a dessert and you just wanting your lipstick on, if you're having another cocktail, or something of that nature.
yeah,
And then as far as the elbows on the table, that's only during conversation in between meals.
meals.
So
Right,
people say, oh, you're not supposed to have your elbow on the table. Not while you're eating, no. But if you're
right,
in between courses and you're having a conversation, that's the
right.
only way. But you're not just sitting there with your elbow on the table. You're not talking to nobody, but if you're
Yeah.
talking to someone, then it's permissible. So just wanted to clear those two things up.
Now, earlier, someone asked, and I wrote it down because I wanted to ask this. Are you supposed to clean your lipstick off of the glass? I thought that was a really good question.
No, you don't clean the glasses at the restaurant, just like you
Mhm.
don't stack the plates. And my friend, he does that because he want to be nice to the waitress. You're leaving a $50 tip. You don't have to be that nice to stack the plates. That's not your job. Some
Right.
people like that. Oh, you're being so nice. And they probably thank you and appreciate you for doing it, but that's not something that you have to do. That's
Right.
not part of the etiquette of dinner, is you stacking up the plates. Just like your etiquette is not to, unless it bothers you. If it bothers you and you're putting your lip in the same spot and that bothers you, you may want to take your drink napkin because it's smaller and you can
Hmm.
clean that area yourself. But ordinarily, you're smudging it if it's lipstick. So now you're
Right. Right.
smudging the glass and making it dirty. So
Hmm.
no, you don't. If you want to move your glass around and drink from another area, okay, but you're supposed to normally drink where your lipstick stain is.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
encouragement world. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yes.
that. Yeah, that I thought that was a really good question because I'm like, I try to stay in the same place
Same
so that
place.
I don't have lipstick all
All the way
over
around the
the,
glass. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then, of course, if you finish that drink and you get a new one, they're going to bring you a clean glass. So it's not like you are going to be perpetually, or if it's a water glass, you're using a straw, most times it's something like that. So, yeah.
yeah. And so it's not, is it good? Is it okay etiquette to use a straw in a formal type setting?
Well, if it's a water glass with a stem, then they are cleaning those glasses on a regular basis. To me, it depends on what type of restaurant you go to. I know during COVID they were doing paper glasses and using straws and things like that for sanitation
Oh
reasons.
yeah, right.
You know,
Right.
so getting back into the scheme of where you're dining, know where it is that you're dining. So some restaurants, some of the forks are going through a dishwasher, and you wipe those off when you get to the table. And then you've got some maitre d's that got on a glove when they come to serve you at the table. You go to Joe's downtown. I think is one of the premier seafood restaurants that's just amazing. They still have white glove service, so when you go in there, everything is a la carte, everything is this, everything is that. And they are some of the highest paid waiters. They make more than some people in corporate America.
Antonio, is it too late to talk about makeup etiquette? The makeup stains on my white shirt is vexing. Part of life, Antonio. Get over it. You gotta date women that either don't wear makeup or they wear makeup that does not transfer. And I don't know what that makeup is. If you find a woman that's wearing makeup that does not transfer, tell her to call me. I need to know what kind it is.
Right, but a lot of men don't like a lot of makeup. Or women kind of do it to make themselves feel good about themselves. You may wear lashes because you like the way that lashes look on you, but every guy I've dated said, I hate them lashes. I can't stand that stuff. Younger as well as older guys have told me that.
Yeah, they don't like
on my nerves. Some men don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't know who does like the real big ones. It's annoying, but yeah, we don't do it for most of us. We don't do it for them. I don't wear makeup because when I get up in the morning, my husband says, "Girl, go on down there and put that Fenty on your face." So he would probably rather I didn't wear it. The only thing he has his preference about is he likes a long black wig. Now he loves my natural hair, but he loves a long black wig for some strange reason. But otherwise, he doesn't care. Someone said, let's see. Shira Lachelle said, would you and Lisa do a live about how not to be thirsty after men? Some of the things in your lesson to Shantae on the last live hit me too. Yeah, we need to talk about that. How to not be out here, how to be available and to let it be known that you're available, but to not just be putting yourself out there like that.
How to control your feminine power.
Exactly.
One thing that women need to learn, as and it's different phases in our life that we go through. And I think dating and being single by choice for a lot of the years, a lot of my years, I guess over 30, has allowed me to exhort my feminine power and still get the most out of what it is I want for myself, and not just giving up myself to get what it is that I want.
Right.
And being satisfied with the path that I choose to take to get what I want, and not being thirsty, and not having to give in, and setting expectations for what you want and knowing how to get them.
Yeah, well, that's it. Setting realistic expectations and knowing how to move forward in that. We have to do a show about that. Definitely. I think that would be a good show. Yeah, that would be really good. Tamika says more and more men are starting to express how they feel about the unnatural look. Men are jive. They always got something to say about something, and they will say that in a minute, but then get on IG and be heartened every day.
Right. They looking at Instagram models. They're looking at everything that's got a booty this big.
All in them girls' DMs.
Right. But then they
knowing they could never.
Hair and no weave, so they can run their fingers through it when they want to. And so they're all different.
They're all different, but I'm telling you, I got my GoPro, y'all, because last year I said this, and I think it got cold, that I'm going out into the world and I'm going to do a video of me when I got Becky with the good hair, long 22 inches of Brazilian Remy. And then I'm going to go pick my fro out and I'm going back out into the world. And hopefully I can see some of the same men. But I want to show the difference in reaction that men have to my, fro versus my long. It ain't what they say it is half the time. So you will be shocked. So I got my GoPro. I'm super excited to go out and do that.
All right.
I'll strap it to me and go out in the streets. But all right, Miss Lisa, we said we were going to let you out of here at 10:15. Y'all, I put Miss Lisa's Cash App in the comment section. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love. Already? Huh? Yeah, it's 10:10.
Wow.
No, it's crazy.
It was a good conversation. That's why.
It was. I don't know why time goes so fast on these things. I'm burning this forever mood, y'all.
And I was drinking my tea out of my little tea set, and
you oh, you were drinking out of actual tea set. I love that. You sitting there with your little I love that. You with your little dainty tea glass, and I'm sitting here with my
well, see, I used to teach
big as my head.
Now, in teaching etiquette, I have 2 8-piece tea sets, and they're glass, and I have the teapot, and I've got the little pedophore forks and spoons.
Oh yeah,
and the little stand that it sits on, because in the spring after Easter, I usually have my sisters over for a tea party. I usually do that every year, and have like a little brunch, a little Easter brunch around that time. So I have a tea set that I bring out, and we have tea, and
that sounds like fun. I would like to do that out in my gardens.
That would be very nice, and have the ladies wear a sundress, a hat, little sandwiches with the crust cut off. Anything's cute.
So I just put your YouTube channel in the comment section. So
well, we owe them another conversation. So I know next week I'll be out of town. So,
and I think the week after that I'll be out of town, because it's the weekend of the 1st is my daughter's baby shower. So
okay,
I'll be there that weekend. So we'll be back the next weekend after that, or the next Thursday after that.
Okay, so the 31st, is it?
Is that the 31st? What's today? Oh, it's only the 10th. Okay. I think actually, because I don't leave actually until because the shower is on the 2nd. Oh, so the 31st. Yeah, we'll be here the 31st.
Yeah, definitely. And then we'll talk about protocol when it comes to being in your own feminine security, knowing
absolutely
how to exert your power, when to and when not to, and not being thirsty while you're dating.
Right. And if you ladies and gentlemen, if y'all think of any topics, if you have any topics that you want to discuss, definitely let us know, and we'll definitely discuss some topics. So thank you all so much for joining us. This was fun. This was good. This was really good.
Now on Monday on my TikTok, if anyone, I was going to do it this past Monday for Tuesday, actually, was International Women's Day. I'm going to talk about the female libido.
On Monday?
On Monday on TikTok at 8:00 p.m. Central. Okay. Because I had several men and women approach me to find out what happens when the female no longer feels sexy, don't want to have sex, don't feel like she wants to be touched, don't want to initiate sex. And it's some women who feel that way and don't know the reason why they feel that way. So it's a variety of reasons, why we do. Some of the foods that women can eat that are natural, We've talked about the O-shot remedy before, where they're having the
Right.
oxytocin shot. So I'll go a little bit more into depth about the female, libido and the sex drive and different things that, women can do to kind of pick it up, because even though women go through menopause, men go through andropause. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because
So they do have a pause.
they have a pause for the cause. Yes, it's called andropause. And that's when men start losing the muscle mass. They were, built like 50 Cent, back in the day. Now they built like,
Snoop Dogg.
right. Or Shaq, Shaq getting a little belly fat, but
Right.
ooh, yeah, but that's my man crush, Shaq. So yeah, if I could have him and Samuel L. Jackson just be one person, that's my man crush. Yeah.
I
So,
could
but
just imagine you with Shaq. Like
he picked me up and carried me around under his armpit, right?
because Shawnee must even be twice your size and she's small. So
Yeah, have to, but still. So yeah, but men, they go through their own. That's why they say men have midlife crisis. It's called andropause. So they go through that same type of thing too, based on their diet. Their penis may not get as hard, and women, they may not get as juicy, but it's things you can do for that, so we're going to talk about that.
Well, I wrote it down. I'm gonna make sure I tune in to TikTok on Monday at 8 p.m.
At 8 o'clock. Yes. And we're going to talk a little bit about it.
All right. Well, good night, everyone. Thank you all again. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
And thank everyone for the Cash App. I'll take a look at your donations, but anything is appreciated. I definitely enjoy myself on the Eva Monroe Show.
Well, thank you for being here. You're so much fun.
Yes.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys soon.